Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I was just sitting down to edit this video and realized that once again I forgot to film an intro or explanations or an outro. You know me. Anyway, so I figured I would just welcome you guys and let you know I made some really delicious things this week. I'm getting ready to go run, so I'm in workout clothes here. Sorry about that. And I'm getting emails from work. So anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it so much. My favorite thing from this week, I try to let you guys know my absolute favorite, was definitely the buffalo chicken, the very first meal that's on here. But everything was good. The patty melts, the steaks, I mean, everything was really delicious this week. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It means so much to me, and I hope that you'll stick around. All right, this was my favorite meal of the week. All I did was put some chicken tenderloins on a pan. Then I drizzled them in olive oil. I used that Montreal chicken seasoning that we always use. And then I baked them in the oven for about 30 minutes on 350. My husband fried up some bacon, and then I drained the bacon grease and put in a block of cream cheese while the pan was still hot. I cut that up into smaller pieces so that it would melt a little quicker. I added about a quarter cup of this plain Greek yogurt. I do use this as a sour cream substitute, so you can just use sour cream if you have that. I added about a quarter cup of ranch dressing. A ranch seasoning packet would also work. And then some of this chicken wing or buffalo sauce, probably about a quarter cup of this as well, maybe half a cup. Oop, yeah, half a cup for sure. Once this was all combined together, I did shred some sharp cheddar cheese. I'm shredding my cheese now instead of using packaged cheese or pre-shredded cheese. I added about a half a cup of this and let it all melt together. Little taste test. It was delicious. I could have eaten this whole thing by myself without adding the chicken back in, but I refrained. My chicken was done, so I just added it into this buffalo chicken sauce. Once I got all the chicken into my cast iron skillet, I just made sure everything was coated evenly. I topped it with the rest of my shredded cheese. And decided we needed more cheese. I'm a cheese lover, can never have enough. Then I popped my cast iron in the oven and just let everything melt. This was absolutely delicious, our favorite meal of the week. I topped it with some bacon that my husband had fried up earlier. My stomach is growling just looking at this. It was delicious. The absolute best meal that we made this week, and I will for sure be making this plenty more times in the future. All right, I'm going to be making low-carb patty melts tonight with this all-American ground beef. I'm going to put mushrooms and onions on it, Swiss cheese, and I'm going to season it with this Montreal steak seasoning that we love and some Worcestershire sauce. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil in the pan before I cook those. So after I put the Swiss cheese on, I just turned my burner off and let that melt. We served this with a side of green beans, and it was absolutely delicious. This was definitely the simplest meal that I made this week. There was literally no prep work. These drumsticks were from our local grocery store. They were barbecue seasoned. I threw them on a sheet pan with some Brussels sprouts, cooked them at 350 for about 45 minutes, and that was it. So I'm going to show you guys my great grandmother's macaroni and cheese recipe. So I used an entire stick of butter. I just put it in the bottom of my crock pot. Something happened to this footage, but I added in a whole package of wide noodles and then an entire block of the off-brand of Velveeta. I'll show you guys that here in a minute. There it is. Cheesy does it. I'm just showing you that I put it in there and I lost the footage. I did let that just kind of melt down. You can season it up however you would like. I chose to use garlic powder, garlic salt, and some pepper. Once that is combined, I poured in a can of evaporated milk. And I added 2 beaten eggs. You want to stir that all together really, really well. And then you can let it cook on low or high. I would do low for about 4 hours and high for about 2 hours. So you guys saw me make the macaroni and cheese earlier. We are having friends over tonight, so I made quite a bit of that, and then I'm gonna make a pretty large meatloaf. So what I'm gonna do first is chop up this onion. I'm gonna add 4 pounds of ground beef. Gonna add some Worcestershire. I'm just kind of eyeballing everything. Some garlic salt. I'm almost out, so I'm just gonna add the rest of the garlic salt. Garlic powder. And some black pepper. I'm also going to add 2 eggs. About a 1/4 cup, I would say, of ketchup. Maybe a little more. And about a 1/4 cup of sour cream. So my meatloaf recipe changes based on what I have in the fridge. I think I've made one on my channel before where I added bell peppers and spinach and tomatoes and onion. I didn't have most of that this time, so I just added onion, and then I also just change up what I put in it. I didn't use sugar-free ketchup this time. I didn't have any on hand. I used regular ketchup, sour cream. Some people put bread in theirs, like my mom does. I find the egg works just as well to hold everything together. Anyway, you can just kind of add in whatever you have on hand or whatever you and your family like. Make sure you take your jewelry off. You can do this with a spoon, but it's much easier and it combines better if you do it with your hands. And make sure that you have your pan ready to go ahead and put it in, because your hands are going to be gross. You're not going to want to wash them. Grab a pan and then stick your hands back in this to make it into a meatloaf mold. So, like I said, I do have my pan ready over here. I'm going to move my bowl. I'm going to trade spots here, you guys can see. And all you want to do, this is sprayed, as you can see. I don't think that it would stick, but I just want to be cautious. So all I'm going to do is take my meat mixture, and I'm gonna just kind of plop it all in the middle here. Make sure you get all the good stuff out of the bottom of your bowl. And then you just want to form it into the shape of a loaf, hence the name meatloaf. And you can flatten it out a little bit. It does not have to be perfect. Obviously, mine never are. This is also a great thing to make ahead, and they freeze very well. We're not gonna eat for a few hours, so I am gonna pop this in the fridge, but when I am ready to cook it, I'm gonna put it in a 350-degree oven for 1 hour, and I'm gonna check it about halfway through because it's gonna collect grease around the side, so you wanna dump that grease and then put it back in, and it might be, you know, an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes. You'll just have to check it. I always like to cut through the middle and just make sure that the middle part is done, because these skinnier parts will cook a little bit faster, and this part here in the middle is where you want to check it. So anyway, that's what we're gonna have for dinner. I'll show you guys the finished product when it's done. So we're having a giant meatloaf, a huge thing of homemade macaroni and cheese, and a salad. So should be pretty tasty. All right, I figured I'd show you guys the macaroni as well. It's just been on, it was on low for, I don't know, 4 hours, and I just put it on warm after that. It's dried out a little bit, but it still looks really, really good. I'm gonna add a little bit of milk to it. Man, it looks and smells really good. I'm just gonna add a couple splashes of milk, just whole milk. Stir that in. Thank you, baby. And then just leave it on low until our guests get here. I have had several bites of this just throughout the day, tasting it, and it is divine. All right, and I'm gonna eat the rest of that that's on the spoon too. All right, I'm gonna make a sauce to go on top of my meatloaf. So I've got half a cup of ketchup, a 1/4 cup of barbecue sauce, I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and some garlic powder. And I'm just gonna mix all that together. And after my meatloaf has cooked for about 45 minutes, I'm just gonna pour this over the top and then put it back in to bake for about 30 to 35 more minutes. So I dropped the ball and didn't actually end up showing you guys the finished product, mainly because I didn't want our guests to think that I was a weirdo and filming all of my meals. So I just ended up pouring this over the top and baking it like I said, and it was just really good. I love meatloaf and our guests really enjoyed it. So we're gonna have these New York strips for dinner tonight. I'm gonna make a little marinade for them. So I have a 1/4 of a cup of melted butter. I'm also going to do a 1/4 of a cup of Worcestershire. 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And then I'm also going to add in some garlic powder. And of course, some of this Montreal steak seasoning that we use on basically everything. I would also add garlic salt if we had any, but I used the rest of it last night in my meatloaf and my macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna be very generous with this steak seasoning. You just love it. Okay, and then I'm gonna stir all this up and just pour it over the top and pop these in the fridge until we're ready for dinner. It's about 1:45 right now, and we'll probably cook these about 6 tonight. So they'll have a good long time to marinate. We're also going to try these mashed cauliflower, cheddar, and bacon potatoes. They have 6 grams of carbs per serving and I think 2 grams of dietary fiber. So we've never tried these before, but I'll let you guys know how they turn out. I'm kind of excited to try them. I might add some sour cream into these as well. I bet I do. We ended up cooking these for about 4 minutes on each side. They were perfectly done, and we served them with those cauliflower loaded mashed potatoes on the side that were also delicious. We just topped those with some Greek yogurt as a sour cream substitute and a little bit more cheese on top, and they were really delicious. I was really surprised. That's all I have for you this week. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I try to do a what's for dinner every week. I've been really busy lately, so it's been more like every other week, but I'm hoping to get back on schedule. And I also do beadwork on my channel and have several beadwork videos coming up. Thanks for watching.